the Formula 1 season has been over for about 2 weeks and we've already had our first piece of speculation. A piece of speculation that came out of nowhere because the first I saw of it was on my Discord the other night and it was actually labelled clickbait time, so pinch of salt time, I guess. I guess it was inevitable really. The outlets have to do something over the winter to generate clicks. And since there's nothing going on until the liveries come out and the armchair experts start overanalyzing every single frame to see what the hell is going on and what colours to expect, and clickbait, rumour and speculation is what will make these things go around until the liveries come out. And I'll be doing my same one-word reviews on Twitter when all that happens. Also, given how there's going to be zero driver market this winter with everybody staying where they are, and this being in itself the first time this has ever happened, you can understand why there's going to be any old crap posted onto an internet. But I don't know why I'm complaining. I should expect it now. I've been here long enough. But anyway, today's news, reaction, pressing issues, humour the rumour, opinion piece, whatever you want to call it, is based off this thing that's come out in the last couple of days that Toto and Susie are working together. When they probably shouldn't be. So, this is such a weird story I've had to go deep diving because it's definitely one of those out there things. Now, to keep things totally legal and all that good stuff, everything in this is alleged. And that word is going to be thrown around more than any other word in any other video I've ever done. And this is all speculation that has come out of one place and one place only. So you can be forgiven for going, pfft, yeah, whatever. But to be honest, we've seen so much clickbait and rumour and speculation on the internet in the summer and winter breaks that we just now treat everything as, well, rubbish. So if something comes out that turns out to be the biggest bombshell ever seen and it's come from one of those really obscure outlets, then, well, that's going to break the internet and then some, isn't it? And we've already had one of these things already this season. Not breaking the internet, but it was one of those things that got mentioned somewhere but ended up not being true. It was about the cost cap and the media reporting that 3 teams had busted that cost cap over the course of 2022, and that one team was in more trouble than any of the others. It was at one point Aston Martin and some other team. Then it was some combo of Aston and a couple of others. Then it was Aston and Mercedes, and then Red Bull were brought into the equation. Then another team and another team and another team. As if these outlets are lobbing any old shit at the wall and hoping it sticks. So at this point in the script, I'm probably just going to have to preface everything with saying Sky Sports has said, The Guardian has said, BBC Sport has said, whichever major news outlet has said, because, well, it's utterly baffling what is going on. As you might already be presently aware, Toto Wolff is the boss of the Mercedes F1 team. He's not just the team principal though, he's also a co-owner and the head of Mercedes Motorsport. This is the same guy that led the team to 8 successive Constructors' Championships, or 8 successive Constructors and Drivers' Championships, if you want to bait comments for the algorithm. I've gone and done that now, haven't I? Okay. Anyway, Toto has a wife. Her name is Susie. Some of you might be old enough to remember a time when she was Susie Stoddart, but she married Toto in 2011, and after her racing career came to an end, and I don't want to use the words failed or stagnated, she devoted her time to becoming a leading figure in getting women and young girls involved in motorsport, whether that's through being a driver like she was, or getting involved in the many behind-the-scenes roles, whether that's engineering, aerodynamics, or being on the pit crew. As a result of this push for women in motorsport, the FIA has had 2 attempts now at creating all-women series that give women a place to race. The first was the W Series, and now there's the F1 Academy Series, of which Susie is the director. And here's where things get interesting, because in her role as director of this Academy Series, Susie reports directly to Stefano Domenicali, who is the head of the commercial aspect in Formula 1. On the other side, Toto is engaged with the sporting side of the whole thing. He deals primarily, there will be some stuff with FOM as well, but he deals primarily with the FIA because of the rulebook and XYZ on top of that. But what's happened now is wherever this thing started, they've accused Toto and Susie of passing bits of information that they shouldn't be passing over. Mainly, Susie passing information to Toto. Because supposedly, allegedly, whatever word you want to use, Toto had supposedly, allegedly, said something in a team bosses meeting where the others had gone, whoa, 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 whoa. Rewind. When all this came out, the FIA issued one of those standard generic statements saying, We are aware of media speculation centered on the allegation of information of a potential nature being passed to an F1 team principal from a member of FOM personnel. The FIA compliance department is looking into the matter. Now, if true, and we are using the term if here because it's all alleged, come from nowhere and all of that stuff, but as Andrew Benson at the BBC has written here, this is yet another chapter in the whole FISA FOCA War Part 2, which isn't actually a FISA FOCA War Part 2. In the February of this year, FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem announced that he was taking a little bit of a step back from what is happening in Formula 1, this being after the whole mess surrounding whether or not the Saudi investment fund was going to be buying out the commercial rights. This was on top of a website report saying that he'd made some comments that aren't exactly befitting of somebody in his position. Sulayem has also been on record as saying more teams and fewer races, while Domenicali seems to think that more races make for a better product, especially if they're on city streets. There's also going to be the references to Spygate, which happened back in 2007. Spygate was when Nigel Stepney, a Ferrari employee, handed confidential documents to Mike Coughlin at McLaren. And while McLaren had indeed looked at the documents, as emails between Pedro de la Rosa, Fernando Alonso and Coughlin showed, they were discussing using a different gas in the tyres versus what they were using at the time, because Ferrari was doing X, McLaren was doing Y, why don't we try X as well? But while that proof exists, there was no proof that McLaren had used those documents to copy any part of the Ferrari F2007 on an aerodynamic or mechanical front. But what has also happened here is that the FIA seems to have just bypassed Mercedes entirely and gone straight to social media, telling the world that this was happening, and that's how Mercedes found out that the compliance department was looking into this matter. You'd think, being the FIA, they would have told Mercedes first, and then everybody would start putting it on social media. Hate it when that happens. So then, let's assume that Susie has passed stuff on to Toto. We're going to humour the rumour. What penalties will that entail? Well, I can't tell you, because we only have these initial allegations. Probably depends on what has been passed over, if indeed anything has been passed over. But as it stands, this is just one of those things that has only just come about. So this is more of this is a thing that has happened rather than give any real opinions on it. Because some of you might have seen what's going on, not known what's going on, and then need to get some answers as to what is alleged. But it doesn't necessarily have to be the passing over of information that can create a conflict of interest. Because of Susie's role at FOM, she might be privy to information that might have been said in various team principal meetings throughout the course of a season. Given that she's the wife of one of those 10 team principals, maybe the other team principals could take exception to the fact that she knows about stuff that might or is happening at Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, so on. It's that grey area of, is she learning this information as an employee of high stature within the F1 commercial rights organisation, or is she learning this as the wife of Toto Wolff? But also part of the issue, if you want to call it that, is that with F1, the circle is very, very small. People will end up moving jobs all the time, and eventually someone is going to end up in a position where absolute trust will be put in them. Maybe that position is of quite a high power within Formula 1 or the commercial rights. The previous FIA president was the Ferrari boss. The current commercial rights boss was also at one point a Ferrari boss. Is there a conflict of interest there? Maybe favouritism? Who knows? I remember when Jean Todt was elected, people said, well, that's Ferrari going to be favoured for the next God knows how long. The head of the women's racing series is the wife of one of the team principals, and so on and so on and so forth. Max and Bernie were very close. Max Mosley ran the March team. Bernie was head of Brabham at one point, and it all everybody just moves around. So you have to hope that the information passed around is kept in the utmost confidence. But it's FOM, so my thought process here is, again, if it is true, most likely kind of commercial rights related, finance related. FOM, Liberty Media, whatever you want to call it, has got nothing to do with the rulebook, so things about rule changes aren't going to be a part of it. So if Toto has gained anything, it's not going to affect the car in any way. It could just be what the other teams have spent, but again, how do you penalise that? But this sort of thing is to be expected around this time of year, isn't it? Because got to generate those clicks. One outlet out of nowhere that nobody's ever heard of says something, and then everybody catches onto it, and then it blows up. So everybody then just assumes that it's true because it's on the internet, and F1 fans are going to do what F1 fans do best through the winter break. Start lobbing childish insults at each other. Happy Christmas, everybody! So then, an overview rather than much of an opinion on this news story that's appeared out of nowhere, but will be interesting to keep up with. If this has cleared some stuff up for you, then do like this video, and for more like this whenever something happens, or just the looks through the motorsport history books that I do, get subscribed with the bell on so you never miss out. Massive thanks to the rad lads over at Patreon for the support, and if you want to help contribute to the picture purchasing piggy bank, then links to Patreon are in the description, along with Discord, socials, and affiliates. Or there's super thanks for the one and done donations or memberships for the more overt ways of supporting. So until next time, I've been AdmiralLaWind, have a great day wherever you are, and goodbye.